Divine Connection Marketing is a 500 Fortune company that can always connect you to the right connection. Check them out.
Businesses all across the planet are looking to make connections with people. Well, guess what? Divine Connections magazine is helping businesses not only walk in their purpose and passions, but to get connected to their potential. That's right. You've got to connect to your potential, and you can make it happen now because it is time to know your worth. As you get connected to people all across the planet, Divine Connections magazine will make it happen. And get featured in the magazine today and get your copy now, because there's no other time than a divine time to get connected to Divine Connections magazine.
Well, great day, everyone. Hope all is well. I want you to turn your attention to our sponsors.
Did you know there's $850 billion available in grants to help your business or nonprofit? Have you applied? Let Imperial Management Group give you a fighting chance in this highly competitive market. IMG specializes in developing award-winning proposals and obtaining grants from government, foundations, and corporations. We can even help you get funding for COVID relief. Could you use $50,000 in free funding? Go to our website and book a consultation right now. We know where the money is.
Well, great day, everyone. Hope all is well. Welcome to Divine Connections Show. I am your CEO, Deloris Williams. We are here to make it happen and share with you some different things that's going on. So definitely make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you like, share, and make comments throughout this broadcast. Okay, thank you. So Divine Connection is a magazine that is faith-based and inspirational. It comes out quarterly in print as well as online. I connect with different businesses, entrepreneurs, gospel artists, praise dance, mimes, vendors, and we network and worship together. And so I would love for you to have the opportunity to share your business or your ministry in Divine Connections magazine. We do that with either half page or full page opportunities. And if you want to get in this issue now, definitely make sure you connect with me today, because we're closing it up at the end of this week. We do, again, half pages and full pages. So you can text 336-338-8903 if you would like to be in the next magazine to find out details about that. And then, or you can email at divineconnectionsmagazine@gmail.com. So the magazine is one of our entities. Another thing I do is what we're doing right now here on the show on Wednesdays, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. We do interviews to share with you great people in the community that's making it happen. So from 3 to 6 p.m. on Wednesdays, we do interviews. And if you would like an opportunity to be interviewed, make sure you contact the information below. I would love to hear about who you are and what you are doing in the community. The third thing, we do our event throughout the year. I do about 2 events a year, one at the end of March and then one in October. The March is my anniversary. So Divine Connections Magazine has an anniversary. We bring in choirs and praise dance and mimes and vendors. And sometimes we do speakers as well. So our recent 12th magazine anniversary, we celebrated women. So we had women speakers as well. In upcoming 2023, we will be celebrating men. So I'm definitely excited about that. So make sure you keep your eyes and ears out. But the October event that is coming up very soon, October the 15th, 2022, we will be having praise dance groups, mime groups, vendors, and also youth vendors. So if you are in any of those four categories, and you would like to be a part, or you want more information, or you're in the area, I'm in North Carolina, please let us know and connect with me on the inside of the information, and let me know what area that you're interested in, and then we can go from there. So take those notes into consideration. So how do you stay connected with Divine Connection? Go to our website at divineconnectionsmagazine.com for updates and news. On our page, you can go and join our email list. So on our homepage of the website, just subscribe. And then our Facebook channel is Divine Connections Marketing. So like that page. Our Instagram is at Divine Connection. So follow us there. And then also we have our YouTube channel at The Divine Connection. So go there, subscribe, and click the notification button so you will know when we are on, what we are doing, when we have events, and different things that's going on. All right. And I'm also trying to reach 1,000 subscribers. Okay. So I would love for you to be a part and be notified as well. So some other things that we're doing. If you have not ordered your copy of this quarterly magazine, it is here and available. We had over 60 advertisers, and I'm definitely excited about it. So those women and vendors that were at the event, they're all in here, their contact information and everything. So different events that's going on. You want to stay connected and make sure you get your copy. We do the hard copies for 12 and the digital copies for 6. With the hard copies, you can change the quantity and order more than one for your family and friends, for churches, for communities, and help us spread the good news. Okay. So we would love for you to do that. Also, on this show, we have sponsorship. So before and after the show, we have commercials, 30-second commercials from different entities, different businesses, different ministries. So if you would like to be a sponsor, you have a 30-second commercial already. We would love for you to be a part. It's only a 3-month agreement for $150, and then you will be seen and shown before or after the event, before or after the show. And we would do that for 3 months, because the more people see you, the more they get to know you, and the more they would like to connect with you. Another thing that we do is provide another service if you need a custom 30-second or 60-second commercial for your business, for your ministry, for your book, for your gospel group, for your event. We would love to do that and serve you as well with your commercial. The next thing we have is our journals. We actually have journals because we are doing great things and making it happen. So that is what the journal says. We are making it happen 2022, and know that you are Divine Connections. We're going to write the vision and make it plain. All right. So definitely get your copy of Divine Connections journal, making it happen. And the next thing I'm excited about is the store. The store is here. I'm so excited that we have Divine Connections store. We are making it happen. And let me share with you some things that we have in the store. Of course, we have our Father's Day gifts going on right now. And so check out these hats. It says Best Dad Ever. We have them in different colors. We have different shirts in different colors. And we have hats, and then we have Divine Connection products as well. So definitely go check out the store. Go ahead and get your order in for Father's Day, because it's around the corner, so you can get it in time. And we are here to make it happen. And so I'm grateful for the opportunity to share that we now have a store, and there are other products. So when you go to the link, click shop all, so you can see all of our products that are in the store. Okay. So that is our Divine Connections news. And so now we have the honor of having a special guest in the house, and we're going to introduce her. She is an author. And so we're going to bring her on in. Awesome, awesome. Great day, great day. How are you?
Yes, it is a great day, Dolores. I'm doing quite well. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. And I love connections. We met at the Year of the Black Entrepreneur event that Ryan Ray is
Yes,
over, and we had a good conversation, and we've been connected ever since. So,
ever since.
yeah, so I love making connections. Awesome. So tell everybody a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and we'll start from there.
Okay, cool. Well, I am a North Carolina native and resident. I am from a very, very small town called Roper, North Carolina. And I am the fourth born of five to my parents, Terusha and George McNair. Yep.
Awesome, awesome. North Carolinians in the house. That is awesome. Wonderful. All right. So as we went through this journey, you started writing a book. So tell us, first of all, where did the initiation to write the book come from? And then tell us about the book.
Okay, so the initiation came directly from God. It happened. I left home pretty much. I graduated in June, and come October, I was out. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah. So I am the one that did everything differently than all my other siblings. So fast forward, my parents gave us travel, even though it was road trips for the most part.
Mhm.
My father loved deep sea fishing as well. So he had like a small fishing boat and a bigger boat. So
Nice.
we went out on the water a lot, living so close to the Outer Banks. We spent a lot of time between the Outer Banks and South Carolina. But when it was left up to us, we prefer like the more laid back, uncommercialized Outer Banks, like the different islands on the Outer Banks. Um, so he always road trips. We had family in New York, Pennsylvania. Um, where else did we go? Road trips. I can't even remember all the little cities now, but we did a lot of road trips. So I thought travel was a given and normal. You know what I'm saying? You grow up, you have a family, y'all travel. Yeah, right. I learned differently after I left the house. So then I had to figure out, well, what would give me travel? So it was either for a short stint, I thought I wanted to be a model. But then I realized I really do not like taking pictures and being in a room of strangers and just dropping down and changing clothes. And like, yeah, that didn't fit well with me. I didn't like that. I like privacy. And
Yeah.
so that didn't work out for me. And then there was either a travel agent or a flight attendant. I wanted to, because I wanted something that was going to give me a reason to travel every day, opposed to me trying to get together with a friend. Like, hey, don't you want to? No, well, let's go. No. So I ended up doing the flight attendant. I was a flight attendant for AMR Airlines for 2 years. I did not know it was only going to be 2 years.
Mm.
In my first and a half year, things changed in my family. And during that time, that's when the writings began to come to me. So my father got sick. And at that time, I was based in Miami, but I actually lived in Nashville. I moved from Miami and I moved to Nashville, but I was commuting. You know how we get in our car and we drive to work every day? Well, I would go to the airport and get on the plane and fly over to Miami to go to work. So my smart self, and one day I should have flew to Miami the night before. I chose not to, and that's my whole issue with work started. But at the same time, it was a gift to me because during the whole time that I was going back and forth with the union, because scheduler, basically, make a long story short, the scheduler didn't work with me like she could have. So it looked like I was a no-show because I made the call.
Mhm.
But, I had an option. I could call in sick for 4 days or just be honest and like, look, can you get someone to handle my trip out from Miami to, I think I was going to Pensacola, Florida. That was a trip that I was supposed to, but it was just a quick turnaround. And
Yeah.
it would have given me time to be there for the next leg and carry out the whole 4 day trip. And so she chose not to work with me. And it set me up for, granted, like I said, I should have been down there the night before. I very much own that part. But she could have worked with me because, there are ready duty flight attendants at the airport. I know because I did it for 2 months.
Mhm.
So because anything could happen, I could have been in a car accident. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They would have called that ready duty flight attendant and said, hey, go to the gate and you work this flight. So
Right.
I knew it was an option, but
Mhm.
she chose not to. So make a long story short, through all the union process, I was off from work. And during that time, my boyfriend at the time, he was like, what you want to do? Do you want to go here, here, here? And then he was like, I tell you what, let's go spend some time with your parents. And I did not know what gift he was giving me at that time, because I didn't even realize my father was that sick. His health was not the perfect health, but I still saw him doing everything that he was doing from the whole time I was growing up in the house. I never saw any difference in my father's stride. Like there was no difference in his demeanor, his talk. Like I had no idea.
Oh, hold on. It is freezing up for a bit, so hopefully. Give me a second, you guys. Let's go to a commercial right quick, and hopefully when we come back, it will be unfroze. We will see. Hold on. Okay, there you go.
Okay. So yeah, make a long story short, the first 2 weeks of July, we went and came to North Carolina, Roper town, and spent the first 2 weeks of July, 1996, with my father and my mom. And I had no idea that 2 weeks later he would be gone from this world.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
And had I gotten on the plane the night before, I wouldn't have had that access to my family, and may or may not have been able to make it home for the funeral because I was so young in the industry.
Yeah.
So, yes. And so with that, like I said, in my year and a half, the writings came to me. I had a conversation with my younger sister, and that conversation turned into a dream for me. And so from that dream, I didn't, we have dreams, but some you remember, some you don't. For whatever reason, I remember the dream the next day. No big deal. So I went to bed the next night. So it was a repetitive dream for the whole week. So I'm like, wait a minute. So I got my sister on the phone. I was like, that conversation we had like on X date? Why I keep seeing it in a dream and this is what I'm seeing? Yeah. And then so it opened a conversation for us. And it was like, well, what about this? And how can you imagine if this happened? So there we go. That's the open door. And girl, every time I talked to my sister about the dreams, because it was like, I would talk to her and it was like, God was like, oh, here's the next. It was.
Okay, hold on, you guys. I think she's having a little difficulty. Hold tight.
I thought I had my phone on Do Not Disturb.
Okay.
Look, see, somebody don't. Satan, you are a liar.
That's right.
We're gonna have this conversation.
We're gonna get it out today.
Yes, but so make a long story short, it was like the dream, the conversation. I was writing it down because it was in my head, and when after I talked about it, girl, now it was like a dialogue in my head. I was like, okay, I need to write this out because I didn't even realize I was that creative. Like I had no idea. So that's when I learned that I was a 3-part being as it relates to my creative side. Yeah. I'm seeing it in my dreams. I'm talking about it with my sister, and I was writing it out. So it's like see, say, do. And every time, and every time I went through that process, God was like, okay, here's the next. So I never journaled. I never even journaled ever in my life. Okay. And God was simply choosing to come and visit with me in my dreams and giving me the story. Like I never went and searched like, okay, well, what do I want my characters to do? What I want them to do. No, I finally said, okay, God, if you put it here, I'll write it. I'll do it. And that's how it happened. And girl, at that time, he gave me 10 titles, but I wasn't all that excited about being a writer at that time, because at that time, girl, I couldn't swim. Okay. And part of my training, that 6-week training, was me jumping in 10 feet of water off a plane, out the wing, to show them that I knew how to operate the vest, the life vest. Because hello, you based in Miami, chick. Right. You constantly over a lot of water, but I was like, I'm getting my wings. I didn't care. So right. I got the courage and I got in that water and showed. But girl, no. So after going through all of that, my wings was not going anywhere. I was keeping those wings, so I thought. Right. But yeah, my father got sick. I realized I had little to no time with or for family, and I was too far from home. And when that whole union deal went through and they came back and they told me what my options were and asked me what did I want to do, I was like, you know what? I will bring your uniform back to you tomorrow. So that's what I did. And the writings, even though I didn't seize it, that moment at that time, God had given me like 10 titles. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
so behind because that was like in 1995. And when I say that, I do not say that in a voice of complaint, because you know how people tell you, well, God's timing is perfect timing. I'm not saying that it isn't. I am just saying that I realized I did not listen when he came to me and mapped it all out, because I didn't get it. And I was not as open to his version of my life, because, hey, I'm trying to see the world.
Yes. For sure.
So, right. So the writings, the message of my writings, it is the healing gift of forgiveness, redemption, and love. The love of man and the love of God. And I know I had a friend that actually read the little catch sentence, and she was like, well, why didn't you put God first? I said, because do you always put him first? I know I don't. I could be honest. I
Right.
don't, even like before, like, especially like at that time when I was a flight attendant, no, I was not always putting God first. You know, it depended on the thing that looked kind of small enough that, oh, I got this,
Yeah.
until you start and you're in the middle of it and you realize, oh, well, maybe I don't have this. And
Right.
then you want to be like, okay, God, okay, so do you see this, right? Like, you hear this, right? Like, oh, God, like, oh, now you want to come talk to me. No, he's not like that. But I'm just saying, this is me, my playful self. Because
Right.
I be telling myself, you got jokes. You should have talked to God first.
Right.
So it's the healing gift of redemption, forgiveness, and love, the love of man, the love of God. And it basically takes this very puffed up story situation, and the situation, it really is a challenging situation to forgive, but such is life sometimes with people in real life. Like, there
Yeah.
are some things that are really challenging to forgive. And even though you know that forgiveness is what you need to do, sometimes we miss the fact that of the big gift that it is more for you than it is for the other person. It really is the opening door of your healing gift,
Yeah.
much more than it is for that other person. And then receiving it.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have a challenge of receiving forgiveness, even if something small. You know that you fell short of something for a friend before. You're like, you know what, girl, I told you XYZ. Please forgive me because I told you. And no, girl, please don't worry about it. Why they can't just say, okay, girl, if we could, you know what I'm saying? Why can't we just say, okay, thank you? But we are quick to say, girl, please, you ain't got to apologize for that. Don't worry about it. No.
Right.
Let that person offer you the forgiveness and be kind enough to receive it.
That's right.
So with and then the second book from that, because Father Then the Eyes Can See is the first book. Father Then the Eyes Can See. And someone said, well, shouldn't you have Father Then? No, like Father Then, like in distance. No, because I'm talking about our Heavenly Father.
Yeah.
And the scripture in Matthew 6:33, where it tells us to seek ye first the kingdom of God. And we don't always do that. Again, we don't always do that. And
Yeah.
so basically, if we took the time and simply sought out God first and went to him first, it could make such a big difference in the unfolding of a situation, of our life,
Yeah.
of a relationship, or not. You know what I'm saying? It could
Yeah.
be like, you know what? Now I see, oh, but you could have seen had you just taken a few seconds and just said, okay, God, is this good? Like, is this where I'm supposed to be? Is this what I'm supposed to do? So that's why the title is as it is, because sometimes some of us, that's exactly how we do him.
Yeah.
The second story talks about the journey of second chances, because similar to forgiveness, sometimes we are challenged at extending a second chance to someone. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to welcome them back into your heart or your life, depending on what the thing was, but at least be open to the idea of knowing that they deserve a second chance, be it with someone outside of you or with you, again, depending on the situation.
Right.
And for us as well, to
Yeah.
give ourselves a second chance. Sometimes we could disappoint ourselves, and it could be 10 years later.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, you could be riding in your car, you could walk past the mirror, you could see a coat, a
Yeah.
color, and you're like, what was I thinking? Because had I just
Yeah.
went, and you go way back to the same date, the same time, 10 years ago, and you beat yourself up a little bit for the thing that you did or did not do, that you now know you could have done differently had you seized a second or moments to really look it out over and really think it out. It's so funny how, like, growing up, I often heard, like, well, hindsight is 2020. Girl, did you know what that actually meant when people used to say that? I know what it represented, but I did not fully know what it meant until like many years later in adulthood. And it was like, it means if you take the time to invest properly beforehand, the lesson that you learn afterwards, when you don't, you would have saw it then. And you would not now be in the moment saying, well, hindsight's 2020. No, you would have followed the right path. Because you know how, like, for instance, we live here in Wake County, Durham County. We have 40. There's so many different avenues that bleeds back into 40. But if you want to get to 40, you can get there. But you and I both know there's a scenic route. There's a not so pleasant route. There's a route that's like stacked with traffic. There's a route that's like easy flowing. You know what I'm saying? And such is life. Like, God has, like, hey, check in over here, man. I'm telling you, I'm looking. Look, it's like the big umbrella in the sky, and it's like I'm looking down the weather forecast. If you take the left road, it really can be that simple, but it's so simplified to us because we're down here and we think we see it, but you could barely see beyond the tip of your nose. Like, why would you not check in with him? And girl, look, I'm talking to myself because I'm sitting here having this conversation. But the time I get off this conversation with you, it could be something that 2 seconds later, and I'm like, I know good and well I should have. So yeah, it's so simple, yet we so consistently miss it sometimes. So yeah, those are the messages of my writing. It's just that it gives the reader the opportunity to, like, be reminded and to the precious gift of forgiveness, of second chances, or to be a reflection on that situation or circumstances that they may or may not have completely resolved, of that person that they may or may not have completely forgiven or released, or be open to the idea that they deserve a second chance before. Because I've heard someone say, well, they don't deserve a second chance. Well, what if the wrong thing happens with you? You were the one who conducted the thing that now has everybody out of sorts, So again, like, I don't know everybody's situation. I don't know the circumstances or the happenstance that ushered a person to a place of bitterness and anger and hardness. But at the end of the day, you're stealing from you. That's setting you up for sickness in your body. You're not going to make that other person sick. Half the time that other person that went on about their life, and they're gliding through life, they grooving through life. Sometimes people, you can be offended by someone in the wrong way, and they have no idea.
That's right.
They have no idea to the level or degree that they may have disappointed or hurted you, because you wouldn't even. Sometimes we don't even want to talk about it. Like we like, no, they know what they did. Do they really? Like, how do we know that they really know? And granted, yes, sometimes people do know. Sometimes they don't know. But then sometimes people are just really, truly ignorant to the fact that, the other day when I did, or when I said, or when I didn't do, or when I didn't say, I wasn't even thinking about how it benefit or didn't benefit that person. And I care about them. Yeah. So yeah, forgive. At least choose to forgive, because when you charge yourself to make up in your mind that I'm choosing to forgive, I believe it makes it a lot easier for when you're faced with that challenging moment. And I'm not saying you may not give the forgiveness right then, but you will allow yourself the opportunity to come back and talk to yourself and be like, okay, God, I'm gonna need you to help me, because I don't want to keep looping here. Who wants to loop in a situation or a circumstance that you can't change? You know what I'm saying? Because either way, you can't change the outcome, You cannot change the outcome either way, whether you choose to forgive the situation, the person, or not. But you can change how the after effect it has on you and your healing process,
That's
and
right.
what you suck away from your life or what you open your life up to receive.
That's
And
right.
and the message in this book is so interesting because remember I told you these were God-given stories. And
Yeah.
so, girl, I'm sitting here now. I'm my mother's full-time caregiver. My mother came to visit like the last weekend in April of 2012. And she started off that week with my younger sister in Zebulon. And then because I was at work. And then that Friday she met me at my house.
Mm-hmm.
And that Friday, Saturday, and going into Sunday morning, we didn't even realize that my mother was having like stroke-like symptoms, because she would tell my younger sister one thing, and then when she got to my house, she would ask me some things, but she never directly said, "Hey, I think whatever it was she was feeling." So, make a long story short, it was like midnight, right at midnight, or like we were at the house first. So
Mm-hmm.
it was like 5 or 10 minutes before midnight, and
Yeah.
I noticed my mother dragging her arm. So I was like, mother, because she was writing something. And I said, Mama, I said, did you just drag your arm? And then she was like, yeah, all day. It seemed like, and then she was telling me what it seemed like she was experiencing, what she was feeling. And I said, well, do you want to go to the emergency room? And my mom don't like hospitals. And so she was like, well, I don't think. I said, well, here's, and she told me why she didn't think she needed to go. I said, Mom, here's the thing. I said, you say you've been dealing with this all day. Now, I said, I don't know the effects that you've been dealing with all day. You just mentioned your arm. I said, but if it was me, I think I would at least want to go and see what they would have to say,
Mm-hmm.
because I could be missing something. I
Yeah.
said, but it's your body. I can't make you do anything. And so she thought about it, and she decided she wanted to go. So, girl, my mother walked herself into that emergency room. She checked herself in, but we got the pleasure of rolling her out. And I say the pleasure because we could have left her there and they could have been rolling her down to the morgue. So, yeah, her life was drastically changed, but she did at least come home. But she came home changed. And girl, so I'm writing about this stroke scene
Yeah.
outside of my mother. I had never been directly connected to a stroke scene. Those writings those writings began in 1995. That book, the first book, Father, Then the Eyes Can See, was published in 2013. And
Mm-hmm.
at that time, I didn't know what was going to go in Father Than the Eyes Can See and what storyline was going to go, and you taught me. So
Yeah.
I'm writing like about a stroke scene. I'm writing about caregiving. Girl, I never faced that firsthand.
Yeah.
So I didn't even realize I was writing my own therapy to some degree, because once
Mm-hmm.
that book was published and a friend read through it, she started asking me questions. And
Yeah.
she was like, "Was this stroke scene about your mom?" I was like, "Mm-mm." She was like, "You do know?" I said, and so when she started asking me these questions, it started hitting me. Girl, it's crazy. Someone was asking me a question about the book, and I could answer the question as the one who wrote it, but
Mm-hmm.
I could not answer the question as a person who reads along with the read journey. And I know that doesn't make sense, because she actually said to me, "Delanda, you don't even know what you wrote." And I said, I don't. I said, because again, God gave me the stories. So
Mm-hmm.
I was just like the pen. You know what I'm saying? You know how
Yeah.
you grab your pen? I'm
Mm-hmm.
just doing what you're telling me to do.
Right.
And
Right.
she was like, you need to read your book. And that's, girl, I didn't even realize as I was penning it, as God was flowing through me, how much of a residue of my life was being penned to those pages. Excuse me, I just bit my jaw.
Okay.
Like, I never realized how much of my life, some of my life was being pinned to those pages until much later, so much later. So the stroke scene was my part of my mom's story. It wasn't completely hers, but it was part of her story. And then there are other elements that are related to me. And it comes out in that book. And it's so crazy because prior to these writings, like I'm behind the scenes person. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not, how sometimes, and it's not necessarily that people come in like that, but it's just, how sometimes you meet people that could just step in the room. It's like, oh, so and so is here. Girl, no, I'm quiet. I slide in, I slide out. You know what I'm saying? And then people like, wait a minute, I thought I saw, Delanda, did you see her? I'm like, look, you know what I'm saying? You don't even know I done left. So, yeah, so it's been an interesting journey, being able to talk about the writings, because it was something that I didn't think I would be doing. Because initially, I was going to have a pen name and I was not going to put my face on it. And my younger sister was like, if God directly gave you the message of this story, how dare you hide behind some fictitious name? And I'm like, well, it's not completely a fictitious person. It's partly me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so forgiveness, redemption, second chances, extending it to others as well as yourself. And this young lady makes a horrible decision. And of course, when you start reading it, you're like, oh no, like you want to see her under the jail. But
Mm-hmm.
by the time you get in the story, you're like, wow. Because here's the thing, what she did, it was bad enough, and it affected directly 3 other people's lives. Okay. It was so bad that in my mind originally, because remember I told you, I'm just putting down what God's telling me to do. But
Yeah.
when I got to that part, I'm like, she can't live through this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how's she going to live through this and everything will be okay? Like, in my mind, that character was supposed to die.
Mm.
And a friend, I had called a friend up at that time, and I was telling them about the storyline, and they were like, well, how's she going to live? You know, because
Mm-hmm.
legally, you know, because we thinking out the legal aspects and stuff.
Yeah.
But he was like, I said, she gonna have to die. I said, she can't live and like live her normal life. And
Yeah.
then he called me early one morning. He was like, Delaney, you know, I was thinking. He said, I was thinking about the whole, because the storyline we had talked about the night before. He was like, you can't kill her. He was like, because she need redemption.
Ooh.
Yeah. He was like, you can't kill her. She need redemption. And so that's where the redemption part came out. Forgiveness, redemption, and love. The love
Yeah.
of man, the love of, that's where that part came out. And so how it was fixed, it was a legal document that helped save her.
Mm.
And it comes out in the second book because girl, that first book, with the first book, right? I was a first time published author. Now, with that, I went through a self-publishing company that helped me do everything. It was called Zulon Press.
Mm.
And I didn't realize I needed them to ask me more questions, you know?
Yeah.
Like I needed them like, well, wait a minute. Did you think about this? Did you think about this? So
Mm.
girl, they just took my story like I gave it to them. And their main question was, well, wait a minute. Like, you can't leave us like this. Like they want it closed. I'm like, no, it's a cliffhanger for a reason. Yeah, that's what their main question to me was. It was like, well, Delanda, you can't leave. And they said the character's name. You can't leave her like this. Like she has to. And I said, no, it comes out. I said, but it comes out in the second book. I said mm-mm. So that first book, it starts off chaotic, okay? But such is our life at times.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes you get up in the morning, like, you know, you lay down the night before and like, okay, tomorrow, you know what I'm saying? After I take my shower, I'm going to go here, then I'm going to come back and do this. And then after I do this, I could just chill for the day. Right, girl? Right. And then you wake up and
Wow.
you start out that way. And then you get the wrong call. Or
Mm-hmm.
you think you're just going to plug into your email real quick to
Mm-hmm.
check the thing that you need to check. And then you see this other email. And then you're like, okay, well, let me go do this real quick. Oh, but by the way, that's not a real quick task. So now you need to go research that. Girl, yes.
Yes. Awesome. Awesome. She'll be right back. That is phenomenal. She's
Peace.
telling her story. Hey, can you show the picture of your books?
I sure can. So with Farther Than the Eyes Can See. Let me see if I can get it here right.
Other way. There we go.
Right. Okay, so that's Farther Than the Eyes Can See. It's a book about redemption, forgiveness, and love, the love of man and the love of God.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, as we were talking, we all will find ourselves either needing to extend or receive forgiveness. And the
Mm-hmm.
choice really is yours.
Yep.
But whatever we decide to choose, it's going to have a lingering effect. And
Yeah.
we, because of how we chose, at that point, we get to decide whether it's going to be a good, healthy, flowing effect
Mm-hmm.
or a boomerang, negative, nagging effect.
Right.
So that's the first book. And then the second book is
Other way.
You Taught Me.
Oh.
And You Taught Me is about second chances.
Mm.
Again, extending and receiving second chances, and recognize that you deserve forgiveness. You deserve a second chance.
That's right.
And so do others.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that every situation that may need to be forgiven is going to be easy, but it still deserves to give it the forgiveness.
That's
Even
right.
if you do it from a distance. It doesn't mean that okay, so Dolores, I forgive you, but now we're gonna be friends. Okay, I don't know what the odd was, so you may not be able to be friends with that person. You may not be able to have them in your space as
Yeah.
close as they were before, but you do owe yourself the gift of forgiveness, so you can close that chapter, if
That's right.
nothing else, so you can close that chapter and begin to extend the healing gift to yourself.
That's right.
Yeah.
Awesome. So tell people how they can reach you, how they can get the book, and then leave us with a word of encouragement.
Sure. So you can reach me. You can connect with me on Facebook. It is author, little comma behind the word author, Delanda McNair, my first and last name. On Instagram, it is at Delanda McNair, all lowercase, Delanda McNair. And then where else am I? Let me see. My personal page is D McNair, DEE McNair. And let's see, if you have questions for me about the book, if you are on Facebook or Instagram, you can just send me a message. If you are not, you can text me at 540-709-1018 if you have questions about the book. If you are interested in an autographed copy, you definitely want to contact me. But if it doesn't matter to you, if you simply want to take in the read journey, those books are available on Amazon. And let's see, if I'm not mistaken, I know it's at one point they were, so forgive me if I'm wrong. But if I'm not mistaken, if you are a Kindle Unlimited member, the books are free they're available free through the electronic read, the Kindle read, if I'm not mistaken. So that is Father Than the Eyes Can See, and You Taught Me. And the messages of my stories are the healing gift of forgiveness, redemption, second chances, and love. The love of man and the love of God. Yep.
Love it. Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on. All right, for the last 30 seconds, give us some encouraging words on the way out.
Okay, so the words of encouragement is this. Release yourself from the expectations of you are to be perfect, because you're not. God's commandment to you was he asked that you be obedient. The perfection request comes from man. That's why it's called a mandate. So drop that and release yourself to be mindful of the fact that if God still has you here, you're still good enough and equipped enough to do whatever it is that he has you here to do. So take one foot before the other, and just go do it. Release yourself to do it, and release yourself of expecting you to do it perfectly. Because when you have the perfect expectation of yourself, you'll sit there, thumbing it out in your head and get nothing done. So let's be active. Let's move, and just release yourself. Be mindful that to be okay with I'm a work in progress, because that's what we truly are. Right. We're a work in progress. There is no perfection walking this earth, and you can do it. You're good enough. You're absolutely good enough, and you are equipped.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right, for sure. Well, thank you for coming on today. You are phenomenal.
Oh, thank you.
Go get her books. She has wonderful stories, and make sure you connect with her on social media. Contact her if you need to. Thank you for being my guest. I am Deloris Williams with Divine Connection. Make sure you stay connected to the number one divine connector, which is Jesus Christ. Thank you for coming, and hold tight.
Amen.
Hey, we've got exciting news from Divine Connections Marketing Services. Now you can create your own custom video commercial for your business or organization. It's time for you to win. Your product or service is someone's solution. So get the attention of your potential customers now. Choose from a 30 or 60-second commercial today. Just email us at divineconnectionsmagazine@gmail.com and we can get started. Connect today and let's get started making your custom video commercial now. Divine Connections magazine. Get major exposure for your business. Is someone looking for your service? Do you need networking? Are you a gospel artist or a ministry? Do you have a major event that you want to promote? Divine Connections magazine has the solution for you. We can distribute to residents, businesses, churches, and online. Don't miss this opportunity to expand your marketing locally and around the world. Find out more about us at divineconnectionsmagazine.com. Get your spot in the next issue of Divine Connections magazine by emailing us for details at divineconnectionsmagazine@gmail.com.
Make sure to like us on Facebook at Divine Connections Marketing. Follow us on Instagram at Divine Connections.
Let's get it started now.